All right, so this is my third attempt at making this video and probably my last. So this is Tamim from Tamim Tech. I make tech reviews and I give you tips and tricks and stuff with tech, cell phones, home accessories, and all other fun stuff. Right now, we're going to be talking about vlogging and making YouTube videos from your iPhone. In this case, just an iPhone because I don't have an Android device, but it can apply to an Android device if you have KineMaster, Adobe Rush, or Cyberlink Power Director. You can use those to edit, and we'll make a video covering the other video editing apps. But right now, I'm going to be using iMovie for this little vlog thing that I'm doing for you, and show you how you can make really simple YouTube videos by doing that. And so let's get started. This is the front-facing camera, 4K 60. You can put it at high efficiency mode, which is HVAC files, which basically is smaller files, but they are a little more complicated, I guess, when it comes to uploading or just like editing in general. But most compatible will have it at H.264, which is the basic codec that most YouTubers use, that most video files will be rendered in when you're creating content for YouTube. So this is the quality of the front-facing camera, 4K 60 during the day. Looks pretty good. So I'm gonna drive home and show you my equipment, along with some other cool stuff you can do with videos, such as a hyperlapse while driving, so you get that cool effect of like super speeding down the street. It's a really cool feature. You have a slo-mo. I'll try to incorporate the little different features in this little video vlog thing while showing you how to use your iPhone for creating content for YouTube, in this case a vlog. You can use obviously your phone for content creation, for reviews and all that stuff like I do. So let's get started and get on the road, shall we? Alright, so that was a time-lapse example of what you can do using the time-lapse feature. Obviously, you use that for sunsets, sunrises, or when you're doing things that take a long time but you want it to be sped up a little bit. So that's the time-lapse feature. I'm home, ready to get my lunchbox in, and my cheesecake that I got from the lovely nurse that I work with, who gave me some cheesecake for my birthday. So shout out to Nurse Nancy for that. All right, so let's get in the crib and get settled. This is basically the studio. I don't have everything set up. I'm about to set up the lights. Show you how to do the lights for my general YouTube videos, which also apply to using an iPhone. So let me get set up and we'll go from there. So now we're in low light because I have this going and the curtains are closed. So stabilization on here is actually pretty good. I mean, I mentioned that. So this is how the setup looks before everything's turned on. Everything's all set up. So the MacBook would go there, everything would be turned on and whatnot. I'm gonna get some natural light in here so that way I'm not using these yellow lights on top of the ceiling for a little better lighting situation. Once you get natural light in your room or where you're working, everything looks so much better. It's like literally night and day. So need I mention that the iPhone, the crop is kind of zoomed in a little bit, so there's no way to zoom it out. So you gotta kind of extend your arm out. Really want to get that vlogish style, but yeah, with natural light everything looks good. Even if you do the side profile, it looks good. So natural light is a go-to. If you can get natural light, get as much as you can for your YouTube videos, and it'll look great. You don't have to worry about buying a studio light. All you need is a window and some daylight. But if you want to do some stuff at night when there's no daylight coming from your window, well, you have to invest in some lights, and I got you. I'm gonna show you what that looks like. Meantime, let's get this set up right now. All right, so this is how everything is usually set up. Got my nice wallpapers and stuff. This is my YouTube studio setup for when I have my Sony going and I have as my background for my videos. It's also be on my background for the iPhone video if I were ever to shoot on the iPhone, and I would have it set up on the bed right there. So that's pretty much how it goes. You got a Blue Yeti microphone for voiceovers. We have an audio box for the audio speakers for when I want to monitor. If I decide to upload my video from my iPhone to my Mac or my desktop. And there's an app called Send Anywhere I'll make a video about, where you can send files from your iPhone to whatever device. You can AirDrop, obviously, from iOS devices to Mac and iPad. But if you have a desktop, Send Anywhere will allow you to pretty much AirDrop from your iPhone to your desktop. So it's pretty cool stuff. So let's get into the lights, show you what that looks like and setup, and talk about the Gorilla Pod that we got over there. And the Rode mic, you can probably set up with your iPhone as well. So let's talk about those gears right now. All right, so we got the Limo Studio, runs you about $100-something on Amazon. Got it for Christmas a couple years ago. You got the softbox here, a little diffuser on here so that we get some softer light so it's not as harsh. So that's pretty much the light that I use. So most of the time I'd have it in front of me, so that way I get my whole face lit. Or I'll get a side profile lit, and I'll use a little light over here, the newer CN216, to get a side profile, and I'll show you how that looks from the side view, and I'll show you how it looks from the front view when you have it going. So that's the light that I use, and everything you're hearing right now is being shot or recorded on iPhone audio. And I may have it muffled a little bit because I keep forgetting the microphone's at the bottom of the phone. So we're gonna get this Gorilla Pod thing set up here. We already got the stand for the phone right there. So let's get this connected. So right now this is the front facing camera at 4K 60. The side of my face is lit because we have the light coming from there, and we have some light coming from the window. Usually I have the room super dark, no lights on except the studio lights. So we're gonna see how that looks when the window is closed and we don't have that backlight coming. But before I do that, newer light to get the side of my face lit as well. I generally set this aside right here, blast it at full brightness, it's not that bright. And then I'll get some light coming from here, a little bit from the front and on the side to get it a little even. As opposed if you had it over here, only both sides would be lit and there would be shadows in the front, and that looks ugly. So lighting is good in this scenario. When you have light from the side, another light from the side, bring it in, even out the shadows from the other side of the face. So this is how it looks with the front facing camera at 4K 60. It's not too bad looking. I got it a little crooked, so we're gonna adjust here. So there we go, that looks actually much better. So again, these are the studio light and the newer light. So now I'm gonna set up the newer light in the front and close the window over there. It actually looks better now that I don't have the window in the backlighting. So keep in mind your composition. Composition is everything when it comes to lighting and how you want your video to look. Right now, for the front facing camera, this looks pretty damn good, not gonna lie. Front facing camera looks phenomenal right now. So let's see how it looks when we turn it over in the back before we switch the settings up. All right, so this is the rear facing camera at 4K 60. Same lighting, it's got the newer over here on my left side, lighting this side of my face, and my studio light lighting that side. We're away from the window, so you don't see any light bleeding from the window, making unattractive lighting in the background. So one way, if you have an Apple Watch to see what you're doing, you can use Apple Watch as a viewfinder, wrap it around your phone, and it will show you what the viewfinder sees. So that way you know what you're doing when you're talking to the camera, because right now you can't see the results until you're done recording. So this is 4K 60 with the rear facing camera of the iPhone 12 Pro Max, and the quality you can get while you're trying to make content for YouTube. All right, so now I have the softbox light in front of me, and you can see the reflection of my glasses, but the softbox light is in front of me right now, and the lighting actually looks a lot better this way. So I prefer it this way, but bear in mind if you're wearing glasses, you will have a reflection from the light. So to make sure you get your distance right, but if you're wearing glasses, it's gonna reflect off. But if you take off your glasses, it won't reflect off as much, but you will see it in your eyes that there's a reflection of a softbox coming from there. So yeah, it looks good. It looks really good actually. So if you want to do cinematic look, you can do one light on the side, another light on the side, and a rim light, but my rim lights are my monitors right now, and my key light is the light in front of me. And I don't really need a fill light because I got everything illuminated right here. So bear in mind, this is now the front facing camera at 4K 60. So I can see what I'm doing, and the quality right now actually looks really damn good for a front facing camera. So you can't go wrong with an iPhone 10s and up, honestly. Even iPhone 10, I think, might look good, but everything from the iPhone 11 and up, to me, with the phones that I've had, have looked phenomenal. This is really good for 4K 60 in a front facing camera. So this is the footage you can get. Now let's see how the rear footage looks with the main sensor. All right, so this is the main sensor, 4K 60, softbox still in front of me, no lights on the sides, the windows over there, the composition is all in front of me. This is the entire frame, 4K 60 on the rear facing camera on the main lens, on the iPhone 12 Pro Max. And this is kind of video content or video quality you'll get for your YouTube content if you choose to use an iPhone. Basically, I'm gonna say an iPhone 10 and up. The iPhones have always been really good with video quality and superior to Android phones. Not that Android phones are bad at it. Samsung is really good at it. Google just improved theirs, but you can't go wrong. This is like cream of the crop for video on cell phones. So this is how it looks 4K 60. Just to give you an idea of what that looked like, that's the softbox right there. And we got optimal lighting. Everything looked fantastic. I want to try to find a 3.5, a USB-C to 3.5 millimeter jack to see if I can hook up the Rode mic to see if you guys can see the difference between the internal mic and the Rode mic that I got, and maybe the USB microphone and Blue Yeti. So let's see if we can get those working on the iPhone to see if you can use external mics when using the stock camera app. Framing this is so hard. Front facing camera looks phenomenal, so if you don't want to waste your time trying to figure out the right framing for the rear facing camera, even though it's the best quality lens on the phone, with good lighting, the front facing camera looks really damn good. So I'm going to show you guys how to edit this footage through iMovie. That's what I recommend if you are a beginner and starting a YouTube channel through your iPhone. Use iMovie, it's free, and it pretty much does everything for you. The only downside is that you can't color correct on it, but since you're not shooting in like HLG or log files, and you're just getting what you're getting from the iPhone video, you don't really need to color correct or anything like that. There's not much you can really do. There's not a lot of data to work with to begin with. So there's other apps like LumaFusion, Adobe Rush, Cyberlink Power Director. There is KineMaster, but all those have cost a little money. LumaFusion's like 30 bucks, but that's it. That's all you pay for. You can add additional things on there like story blocks to get some footage and some music in your videos. And for Adobe Rush, I think you need an Adobe membership. I'm not completely sure. KineMaster, you need to pay up to utilize all their features. Same with Cyberlink Power Director. So iMovie is the way to go if you have an iPhone. I'm going to show you how to edit that footage right now. This is the clip where I show you how I edited this whole video. So I'm going to scrub through the timeline at the beginning. In the beginning, we have this graphic here, and I got it from Adobe Premiere Pro. I just airdropped it to my phone to add it in here. Then you have your transition things in here. So first off, to get the clips in here, when you go to recently added videos, you're gonna select your clips. And once you're done selecting them, it'll put it in the order that you selected them in. And in between, you'll have these transitions. So you have none, theme, dissolve, slide, wipe, fade, with durations and sound effects if you want to add them to it. And then you just scrub through. And I got this Nebula soundtrack in the bottom from Epidemic Sounds. Highly recommend Epidemic Sounds if you're gonna make a lot of content creation consistently. You need that background music. So just download it to your iPhone, go to add, go back, go to files, and it will be right there for you. So to edit a clip, click on it. You have scissors, split, detach, duplicate, delete. You have the time, speed, freeze, slow down, sound, turn it down, turn it up. You have your different text you can use with different cool animations and sound effects and styles and color corrections. You have all these different filters if you want to spice it up with your videos. So here's just a regular 4K 60 video. Strobing the timeline is very smooth. Here we have a hyperlapse. So it's in your stock camera app, go to Time-Lapse, and then for long videos like this, like a 5-minute drive home, it'll be shorten it at light speed. Pretty cool. So again, here I have slo-mo, HD, full HD, 120 frames per second. iMovie does its thing, slows it down, it has it match the frame rate at the timeline, which is 60 frames per second, I believe, since the first clip is shot at 4K 60, making this a 60 frames per second timeline. So good job on iMovie to do that. You have all these transitions here, so all this cool stuff. So yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, it lines it all up for you in that order. And if you want to put a thing in a certain order, just scrub, put your little cursor there, then add, and it'll throw it back in front of that clip, add a transition, or you can delete a transition if you don't want one. So that's pretty much how you edit an iMovie, man. It's really, really simple. And I'm gonna just conclude. Where am I gonna conclude? I'm gonna conclude right here. Alright, so this is the main sensor, 4K 60. Softbox still in front of me. No lights on the sides. The window's over there. Composition. Wait, no, I'm not. Not concluding there. I lied. The conclusion to this video is here. So here we go. Alright, coming at you live from the front-facing camera again at 4K 60. So hopefully you got a lot out of this video, and it helped you out if you have an iPhone, and how to start up a YouTube channel, and the content that you can create with it, and the quality that you will be able to use if you choose to use 4K 60, 4K 30. I recommend 4K 24, but people like 60 frames per second, so it looks really smooth. But I shoot in 4K 24 usually on my Sony camera, so I would have shot this in 4K 24. But I was just curious to how 60 frames per second would look, and I'm curious if it will even export at 60 frames per second, since I have some footage in here that's 120 frames per second. So we'll see how that goes. And yeah, hopefully you got something on this video. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon. Stay tuned for more content from me. Until then, peace.